30 seconds left. One enemy remaining.
Yo, what's up everybody, this is Rocklan and welcome back to a brand new video. Today I'm going to be showing you 5 more of my favourite effects to add to your Valorant montages, or any montage in general really, using Adobe Premiere Pro. This is part 2 to a previous video I've made where I covered 5 other effects which I think are, well, probably more essential than these. So make sure you go and watch that video once you're done with this one to learn 5 more other effects that are super important. Just before we get started, I can see the vast majority of people who watch my videos actually aren't subscribed, so if that is you, go down, hit that subscribe button, I appreciate it a lot. As well as join my Discord where you can chat to other members of the community and get help with your edits. Follow me on my other social media, links will also be down there. As well as check out my channel for other tutorials, all relating to montages, editing, all things like that. I'm sure you can find something you'll be interested in. And without any further ado, let's get into the video. So for today's video, we're going to be using Adobe Premiere Pro, as you can see. If you don't have Premiere Pro already, head down to the description. There'll be a link down there to where you can check it out. It is an affiliate link, meaning if you do use it and make a purchase, you'll be supporting the channel at no extra cost to yourself. So if you don't have it already, feel free to go check that out. Okay, so before we can do anything, we're going to need to import our clip. So I've just got mine over here on my second monitor, so I'm just going to drag it into my project bin, and I'm going to make sure we're in the effects tab at the top. So you've got different tabs here. Yours will probably be on editing, which will look like this. Just come over to the effects tab. It's going to make it a bit easier for when we're doing the editing we're going to need to do today. And now you can see that I've got my clip in my project bin. I'm just going to right click and then I'm going to click on new sequence from clip, and then you'll see it will now be on my timeline. So quick things I want to mention beforehand is I have some custom keybinds which I recommend you get as well. It's going to really speed up your editing. To add them, just come up to edit and then keyboard shortcuts, and you'll see I have add edit bound to C. So if you don't have that already, you'll see vertical type tool and add edit. Make sure you add edit to the C key. Add, or make sure X is ripple delete, and then I also have Q as ripple trim previous edit to playhead. They're basically the 3 keys that we're going to be using to cut down our clips, and I recommend you also set those up as well. It drastically improves editing speed. So all I'm going to want to do is find the part in my clip that I want to cut, so right before the kill. So that's going to be basically here before I come around the wall, and then all I'm going to do is press Q on my keyboard, and then that's going to cut everything off and snap my clip right to the beginning. And that's one of the keybinds that we just added. If you don't have that, then obviously you can come over, get the knife tool, cut it, and then delete it that way. Or using the keybinds that we have, you can also press C to cut it and then X to ripple delete, but obviously Q is just faster. And then you can see we have clip come out, get 1 kill, get a 2nd kill, and then I think I'll cut it here as well. So press C and then I'm going to X to ripple delete that, and there you go. So that is now our cut down clip. So now we can start applying effects to it. Okay, so for our first effect, this is going to be a Swish Pan. So you'll see this is quite common with editors like Nowak. It's basically more of a transition effect, but a lot of editors also use it as like a build up to their kills and things like that. Now essentially all it is like a swipe and a blur in any direction. So I'll show you essentially what it's based off of. I've created some custom presets which you can get for free in the description, but essentially what a lot of editors will use is an effect called Swish Pan. So if I cut this and I search for Swish Pan, you won't have this if you don't have the plugins, but don't panic, I'm going to give you free presets so that you will have them. So essentially you see Uni Swish Pan, I'm going to drag that on, and basically all it is, if I play the clip,
30 seconds left.
Is literally just a quick transition. Obviously they'll normally make it a bit shorter than that, so something like this, and they'll use it to sort of lead up to a kill. Now this video is not going to use any plugins or anything paid other than Premiere Pro whatsoever, so the presets that I've given you are essentially just recreating that effect but using standard effects that come stock with Premiere Pro. So to add them, you're just going to want to go down to the link in the description. You'll see the free download for it. It'll probably be a Google Drive. You're just going to download that to your PC. If it's a zip folder, which I don't know if I have to do that yet or not, if it is, unzip it and then come over to where it says presets, right click, hit import presets, and then you'll see here Rocklan's free Swish Pan presets. Hit open, and now if you search for Rocklan, you'll see Rocklan's Swish Pan. So essentially to apply these, all you're going to want to do is right click in the project bin, new item, adjustment layer, change to 60 FPS because our clip is recorded at 60 FPS, and the width and height should automatically default to whatever your video is, and then hit OK. And now you're going to want to drag it onto your timeline. Now usually you're going to want this effect to be quite short, so I recommend using 12 frames. So to make your adjustment layer 12 frames, you're just going to want to hold shift and then press the right arrow twice, so that will jump in 5 frame increments. So that's 5, that's 10, and then tap it twice more without holding shift, and that will be 12. Then select the adjustment layer, press C, select the rest of it and delete, and you can see now we have a 12 frame adjustment layer. So now you can decide whether you want it up, down, left, right, whatever swish you want. So I'm going to go for, say, I don't know, a down, drag that onto the adjustment layer, and you'll see it will automatically fill the adjustment layer with the keyframes scaled perfectly. So if you wanted to make it longer, you could have a longer adjustment layer, drag it on there, and you could even use it as a transition. You can see that's now going to last a lot longer, but I recommend keeping it short to something like 12 frames. So I'm going to drag it on, and there you go. So if I play this, you'll see
30 seconds left.
it's basically just a simple swipe down. So if I add the usual swish pan on this swish, put the universe swish pan on there, then I'll whack it down, you should not really notice much of a difference between the plugin and the version that I've provided.
30 seconds left.
See how they're essentially the exact same thing, just one uses a paid plugin and one of them is completely free, so there's no reason not to use this one. Now, like I said already, you can use it as a transition if you wanted to, so I could have the first kill and then I could cut here, go towards the second kill, cut there, delete this, and then place the adjustment layer over the gap, and then you'll see it will be a transition between the two. You can use it like that if you want to. However, I'm going to be showing it more as like an effect rather than a transition. So I can have it lead up to the kill. You can see I'm going to go to the frame just before the kill, and I'm going to drag it so that it lines up with the last frame. And then you can also stack multiple. So if I hold Alt and then click and drag my adjustment layer, that's going to make a duplicate. That's going to make a duplicate of it. I can then select it, and I'll just quickly hold Control and select all the effects on here that my preset added and delete them. And then I'll add, say, let's go for up as well. So I'll drag that on. So now it's going to do this sort of effect
30 seconds left.
before you get the kill. So you can add multiple on there if you want. You could do all 4 different ones, but yeah, editors like NoWhack, for example, tend to just stick to 1 or 2 just to lead up before the kill. Okay, so now what I've done is I've added it in conjunction with some effects that we would have learned in part 1 of this video, so the other 5 effects. So the ones I've added here, I've added 4: the blur, the glow, the lens distortion, and the scale. I didn't add the slow-mo, but I've added the other 4 on this adjustment layer and also to the clip itself. And I've also shortened down the swish pans. I've still got the up and the down like we had before, but I've just shortened them down to about half to 3/4 of their length, and I'll show you what that looks like when you add it in conjunction with other effects.
30 seconds left. One enemy remaining.
So you can see it comes in, zooms in with the lens distortion, flicks up, flicks down, and then has the scale with the flash and the blur, just like that.
30 seconds left. One enemy remaining.
And that is effect number 1, the swish pan. Okay, so now we're on to effect number 2. Now this is going to be a desaturation. So essentially what it's going to do is suck the color away from the video so that it goes almost grayscale until the point where you get the kill, and then all the color is going to come back along with the flash and whatever else. So I'll show you how to do that. So essentially you're going to want to come over to where it says Lumetri color on the right hand side, and ignore the keyframes on here already. These are from the lens distortion and the scale. They're not applied right now, so just ignore those. And essentially you're going to come to the point where you get the kill, so that is right on this frame. Then you're going to come over to where it says Lumetri color on the right hand side. You'll see saturation, it's 100. Just click it and then click off, and you'll see over here Lumetri color effect has been added. And then come down to creative, and you'll see we have the saturation here. So you're going to hit this little stopwatch to add a keyframe to the saturation. And you're going to go back to just before I come around the corner here, or basically as far back as you like. So I'm going to line it up with when the scale starts to happen, which obviously isn't applied right now, but if or actually that's the lens distortion. There you go, lens distortion. You can see it starts to suck in like that. Obviously I don't have that enabled right now because I'll show you what that looks like in a bit. But basically I'm going to line it up with when I start the rest of my effects and keyframe the saturation at 100 as well. And now I'm going to go forwards in my clip to the point just before I get the kill. So that's on this frame, as you can see. Go back 1 frame. And I'm going to set the saturation to 0, so now it's grayscale. So if we watch that,
30 seconds left.
you can see as I approach the omen to get the kill, the color disappears, and then on the kill it suddenly comes back again. So if I reapply the effects that we had before, so I'll drag my adjustment layer back. This is the ones from the previous video, not the swish pan effects. I'm not going to include them for this part. And then if I re-enable the scale and the lens distortion and I play this back,
30 seconds left. One enemy remaining.
you'll see along with everything else it's going to zoom in as well as lose its color, and then color comes back, and it just makes the impact of the kill a little bit stronger. I'll play it again.
30 seconds left. One enemy remaining.
And there you go, that's just another little effect that you can layer with everything else. Obviously, to pull off the best looking effects in Premiere Pro, you want to start layering things. So you can see here I've got about 5 or 6 different effects all layered on top of each other. So that's the desaturation, the glow, the lens distortion, the scale, the blur, everything like that. Layer them all together and then you can get a cool effect compared to when it was just how it was before with just the desaturation on its own. Okay, so now for the third effect of this video, it's going to be the 4-color gradient. A lot of you commented on my After Effects version of this tutorial that you wanted to see how to do this in Premiere Pro. So this is exactly how we're going to do it. Essentially, you're going to want to go down to your timeline, find the point where you get the kill. So that's going to be exactly here. And then I'm just going to press M on my keyboard to add a marker just so that I can see that little green marker down there, just so that I know where that is for future reference. Probably should have done that for the previous effects, but it's not that deep. Then you're going to come up to effects, search for color, and you'll see 4-color gradient. Drag that onto your clip and it will add this effect over here. Now I'm going to change the blending mode to overlay so that I can see a little bit better, and then I'm going to grab this little free draw Bezier tool, which is basically to make a mask. I'm going to select that underneath the 4-color gradient, make sure it's under the 4-color gradient or not any other effects, and now I'm going to mask out where I want the 4-way color effect to be. I'm going to make it just around the gun, so I'm going to start off by clicking down here, and basically I'm just going to trace out the gun. Don't be too accurate, you want to stay a little bit outside. Obviously you can make it exact if you want, but I'm going to add some sort of feather, so I'm just going to go around the outside like this, just masking out, staying slightly outside the lines, and join it like that. So you'll see now the effect is only applied there. I can then come to this mask and change the mask feather up, so I think we'll go to something like 60. I think that looks alright. There you go, something like that. And now you can mess around with the colors. So I'm going to change my blending mode to add. You can also use screen if you want, like that. If you want to use screen, I'm going to use add and then drop the opacity down to something like 50, maybe a little bit more, go 75. There you go, I think that looks better. And I'm going to then select the 4-color gradient, and you'll see these 4 little dots on the screen. So I'm going to drag these all down towards my gun, and you'll see where each one goes is where each different color is going to emit from. So I'm going to leave this one down here, bring this one over, and that's where the 4-color gradient bit comes from. So it's got the 4 different colors there. Now at this exact frame where we get the kill, I'm going to keyframe my mask opacity at 100. I'm going to go back exactly 1 frame. You can use the left arrow key. And I'm going to drag the mask opacity down to 0, and you'll see that will then remove the effect entirely. So I'm going to get the kill, and then the effect will apply just like that, as you can see. And then I'm just going to go forwards, we'll say to about here, keyframe the mask opacity at 100 again, and then we'll have it fade out about here down to 0. So you can see it does come off the gun slightly as you move. You can animate the mask if you want by keyframing. You can see here's the mask path, so I can keyframe that, and then I can go forwards in time, edit the mask like this, so I could bring, say, this one up like that, just for demonstration purposes. And then you'll see over time the mask will animate just like that. So you can animate it over time to make it stay around the gun if you want to. I'm not going to bother for the sake of the tutorial because I think it just about stays on enough before it fades away. So if I play that for you,
30 seconds left.
as you can see, the effect just applies as soon as you get the kill. And then when we add that in conjunction with all of the other effects as well, it's going to look great. One more thing we can do is we can actually animate what this looks like. So I'm going to come to the frame where I get the kill, which is exactly where the mask starts, just like that. And you'll see here there's positions and color values. If it's not appeared, you can just hit this little down arrow. And then you're going to want to keyframe color 1, color 2, color 3, and color 4. And then I'm going to go forward, say, I don't know, 10 frames, so holding shift, I'm going to click right twice, and then I'm going to select each color. I'm just going to drag this bar up, so I'm going to go from yellow to orange, this one's going to go from green to yellow, this one's going to go from pink to, what was that, purple, blue, something like that, and then I'm going to go from blue to more of like a lighter blue, and then I can go forward 10 more frames, shift right arrow twice, and drag this one up. That's now going to be red, this one's going to be orange, this one's going to be a light blue, and this one's going to become green. And then I'll do the exact same thing again, shift right arrow twice, drag this one up. You can see it's at the top, so I'm basically going to start from the bottom again, so drag it up into pink, going to drag this one up into red, this one up into green, and this one up into yellow, and go forward 10 frames again, shift, double tap the right arrow, and you'll see it's basically faded at this point, but we may as well just go up one more, so purple, go to pink, yellow, and red. So if I play this back,
30 seconds left. One enemy remaining.
you'll see it's got this sort of rainbow pattern effect, just like that. I'll play it once more.
30 seconds left. One
And there you go, that is how you do the 4-way color effect like in my other After Effects tutorial. Now I'm going to add this in conjunction with all of the other effects. Okay, so now I'm going to preview it with all the other effects applied.
30 seconds left. One enemy remaining.
And you can see just like that, I'll play it once more.
30 seconds left.
Once you add it with all the other effects, it makes it 10 times better, in my opinion. So we've got the desaturation and lens distortion coming in, and then it's gonna scale in, flash, blur, and add the rainbow gun, and then it's gonna slowly scale out, and all the other effects are gonna dissipate just like that. So I think that looks pretty solid. Okay, so for our next effect number 4, this is gonna be Chromatic Aberration. This is another one that I made in my other tutorial on After Effects, and then this is how to do it in Premiere Pro. So essentially, you're gonna just come to your clip, find exactly where you get the kill. It's up to you how you use it. I'm going to use it after we get the kill, so I'm just going to search for Chromatic, and you'll see over here we've got video effects, immersive video, VR chromatic aberration. Just going to drag that onto my clip, and now I'm just going to keyframe the aberration red, the aberration blue, and the fall off distance exactly as they are. I'm going to go back 1 frame using the left arrow, and I'm going to keyframe the fall off distance at 0, aberration blue at 0, and the aberration red at 0, and you'll see the clip will go back to normal. So now when you get the kill, which is on this frame, there is chromatic aberration. You can change how it looks, so you could have the fall off invert, so you can have it come outwards, which I think is what I'm going to do rather than it come inwards. So I think I'll have it keyframe like that. You can also disable auto VR properties and then choose different versions. So you can have over under, which doesn't really appear to do much. Like you can see here on the mid-link lettering, it's gone up and down, or you can have side by side, which I think is actually a little bit closer to how chromatic aberration would be straight out of camera. But I'm going to leave it on monoscopic because I like how it does extra to the edges. So I'm just going to tick auto VR properties. It does the exact same thing. And now I'm going to go forwards in my clip to the point where the rest of my effects would wear off. So that's going to be at about this point. And then I'm going to set my fall off distance, blue and red, all back to 0. And you'll see the clip will go back to how it was before. So if I play that for you quickly,
30 seconds left.
you can see it's only short, but when added with everything else, it's just something else to layer on top. So you can see it doesn't last for too long. It does just disappear pretty quickly. I could extend that a little bit longer, so I might do that. I think I'll come in, I'll copy these frames across, Control C and Control V, so it actually stays on for a bit longer and then fades out quite quickly. So I'll show you what that looks like.
30 seconds left.
So there you go, you can see it comes in, stays for a little while, and then disappears quite quickly along with the rest of the effects. So I'm going to add all the other effects back on, and then you'll see what that looks like.
30 seconds left. One enemy remaining.
And there you go, you see it's not too noticeable, but if you go in frame by frame, you'll see all of this effect around the edge. If I disable the chromatic aberration, you can see it makes quite a significant difference when you look at it like this. So if I just keep skipping through frame by frame, you see it's quite prominent here, and without it, you know, it's just a little extra something. You could add it throughout your entire video if you wanted to. You could have it build up to the kill and then disappear on the kill. It's completely up to you. You can even make the fall off distance extreme if you wanted to. So this is how it is. I could make the fall off distance massive, so I could do something like that, or make the red come out a lot more, the blue come out a lot more. It's completely up to you how you want to do it, but these are just the settings that I would use. And then obviously use it in conjunction with the other effects as well if you want to. At the end of the video, I'll be combining all the effects together once I've shown you the last effect as well, so you'll see what that looks like. But essentially that's chromatic aberration. Okay, so now for our final effect of the video. This is effect number 5. This is called a low pass. Now this is not really an effect to do with the video itself. This is to do with the audio and the music. So you'll see in quite a lot of edits, people will have the music sort of drown out and sound muffled, and then on a kill it will come back full and strong again. And I'm going to teach you how to do that right now. So I'll play it as it is now. I've just added this song below. The song's called Hot Blonde Girl. It's from Streambeats. I'll leave a link in the description to the website where you can download it. It's completely royalty free if you want to use it. I just found it and thought it'd suit this video, so I'm going to use it. And this is what the song sounds like without any effects on it whatsoever.
30 seconds left. One enemy.
So you can see I've synced it up with the kill, so I'll play it once more.
30 seconds left.
So on that beat drop, as you can see with the waveform right here, it's quite quiet, and then you can see that's where the beat is. Now I haven't done that, that's no effects of mine, that's just how it happens to be. All I've done up here is you can see I've changed the volume from -100 and it will fade into 0 just so that it's not super loud right to start with. That's basically all I've done. Now to do the low pass, I'm just going to come to the point in the clip where I want it to be full volume, and I'm just going to cut it. Press C to cut if you have the keybinds like I have, and then come over to effects, search for low pass, and you'll see filter and EQ low pass, drag and drop it onto the clip. And now if we listen,
30 seconds left. One enemy remaining.
you can see it's a muffled sound. If I mute the in-game audio, in fact I'll just extend this a bit longer so you can hear what the muffle sounds like. So that's essentially what it sounds like until it hits this cut, which is where the normal song comes on. So I'll play it once more. Now you can edit this to have it fade in and out. So for example, I can come to, say, I don't know, right on the last frame. I want it, so right here, I want the cutoff to be 400 Hertz. Which is going to be a super severe low pass, so I can keyframe that. And then at the start, I want it to be 20,000, so that's going to be normal. So if I listen to that, you can hear it goes super muffled. So I'm actually going to bring this 400 one a bit further forward, so it starts a bit earlier. And that's essentially how to do that. You don't need to have it on 400, that is quite low. I could bump it up to, say, 800 maybe. Now it will sound better when you apply it to a song, like for example here, the song gets quiet and fades out before the beat drop anyway. So the low pass is sort of just, I guess, adding to that, making it sound a bit more muffled, rather than creating the sort of quieting before a beat drop like it would in a different song to mine. Essentially, you can just play around with this value and make it sound however you want it to sound for your particular edit. It's completely up to you. Okay, so now I've added all the other effects on from the previous video except for slow-mo, as well as all the effects that we used in this video, and this is the sort of thing that you can create.
30 seconds left. One enemy remaining.
And there you go, I'll play it once more.
30 seconds left. One enemy remaining.
And that is about it for this video. If you did find any of these tips helpful, please drop a like on the video and subscribe, as well as leave a comment letting me know any other effects or tutorials you want to have. So for example, any other editors you want to learn how to edit like, or any other effects you're struggling with. As well as follow me on all of my other social media and join the Discord, links are down in the description. Check out part 1 of this tutorial where I covered 5 other effects, as well as any of my other tutorials on my channel. I'm sure you can find something you'll be interested in. And other than that, have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next video.